Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Work in Progress. I am your host, Barbara Estrada, and I'm here with the indisputable, undeniable, unknown Hitesh. Say hi to the people.
Pleasure to meet you all.
So why are we here today? I'll just get a little bit into the introduction of this episode. I've spoken to Hitesh a lot about this topic. He is many things and a jack of all trades, I would say. And one thing that is really close and near and dear to his heart is this topic of breathwork. If you haven't heard about it, we will be talking about this in this episode. And it's going to be one of the first things that I think Hitesh will explain to those that are both watching and listening to this conversation. But yeah, so breathwork, what is it? Why are we here today? What is the importance of it? And also the intersection of breathwork with AI, which is such an interesting concept of like emerging these two worlds of like technology that we're always constantly trying to, I guess nowadays, trying to get away from. But then also being so present in the now with our own bodies, which is such like a, say, biologically human thing that we do of every moment, every second of our lives. So Hitesh, why breathwork? And also introduce the people to who you are.
So everyone, I'm Hitesh. Pretty much a lot into AI and tech, and also into fitness and nutritioning, and also wellness. So why breathwork, right? So if I look into my previous experiences, so I was into fitness, I was into nutritioning, and I was always trying to understand the depth of it. Mm-hmm. So I try to understand what exactly is required for your body and for your physical and mental well-being. So then I came across this whole concept of breathwork, and it was not something new to me. So when we go back in my culture, in the Indian culture, we always have breathing techniques to heal physically and mentally. So this was like centuries ago by Indians and Chinese who use breathing techniques to recover and heal and grow. Mm-hmm. So I thought, why not you bring this and build a logical thread between fitness, yoga, and many other physical forms of wellness and mental forms of wellness by just breathing. So I thought, let me explore it, why not? And then it really got into me, and then now I'm trying to create a lot of awareness of it.
Okay, so we're in a space of awareness right now, that whether that be it, the times are changing, that we're trying to become more and more disconnected from social media, from technology. And I'm wondering, how is it that it's something that we should incorporate into our daily lives, and also why? Why do you feel like this is so important?
It's very important because when we look at the existing or traditional wellness techniques, like for example, you go to the gym, you go to a yoga center, and all these wellness forms always try to heal you physically. And when we look at our nervous system, let me break down the nervous system or the autonomous nervous system to two things. One is parasympathetic and sympathetic. Mm-hmm. So the sympathetic is like fight or flight method. So for example, if your body or if you are in danger, you immediately, your spinal cord activates, and then you try to either inflate your pupil, try to be more aware, try sweating. So these are sympathetic nervous system, and these are trained by yoga practices, some basic meditation techniques, but nobody thinks about the parasympathetic. So this is a sympathetic system where it helps you to rest and digest.
Rest and digest. Okay.
Yes, rest and digest. So this helps you in recovering and improves your stress levels, or not like increase it, but gradually decrease it. So nobody focuses on this. So when you go to the gym, how many people tell you, hey, this workout is for, calming your, nervous system. Mm-hmm. So breathwork is the way to work on these systems. So when you incorporate breathwork in your daily routine, or let's say you have a long breathwork session for like 15 weeks or 20 weeks, this significantly improves your parasympathetic nervous system. Yeah. So I think that is where breathwork comes in. And so the whole parasympathetic nervous system is a logical connection to your entire body. So for example, you come out from a stressful trauma, or if you, like, for example, let's go with the trend. Let's say you're stuck in a forest with a bear, right?
Oh, the social media trend, yes. Yeah.
So now, what happens when you're stuck? All your sympathetic nervous system is activated. You try to run away. You try to fight it, and what happens next? Nobody focuses on how do you heal afterwards from the trauma. And
or at least I would even say, to interject here, It's not even a matter of like they don't focus on it. I just think it's a rather not a widely discussed topic, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
So that's where the parasympathetic nervous system comes in and helps your body recover and heal from that trauma.
Yeah.
So breathwork aids to that.
Okay. And how do you incorporate breathwork into your daily life? I know this is something that like I always tell my guests to be as personal as possible and to make this something that is a conversation, not just to like sell you some things. We're not here for that. We're here to educate. We're here to inspire. We're here to make your lives better. And it seems like it's helped you a lot because from what I've been told from you, and not to air out any dirty laundry because it's really just, an evolution of who you are today, that you were completely different from who you are now, right? You were a bit more, let's just say, how would you describe yourself before and now, if you could share?
Yeah, I think my focus towards wellness was more into physical wellness. It's about how do you look good on stage and how do you pretty much present yourself physically. And that was my main focus. And healing and mental well-being was not really my prior one. And this drastically shifted because I understood the underlying motivation to all this comes when you heal and recover better. So that's where like breathwork came into my life, and the way you really incorporate, unlike other fitness or wellness forms, you don't really have to get into like 1 hour a day, like 2 hours a day. You don't have to get into it like that. So breathwork can be incorporated into your daily life by like 5 minutes in the morning after you wake up, and maybe 5 minutes before you go to bed. That's a start. And from there, you eventually focus on yourself, you understand your body, and you might increase the amount of time you spend with breathwork, or you might do multiple sessions during the day. Or some people also get into a complete transformational breathwork practice for like 10 to 15 weeks.
Right, like a program.
Like a program, yes.
Okay. And for those that don't know, you mentioned being on stage. So kind of like what is it that you're referring to, if you may disclose that? Sure. And how did that kind of, I guess, that fitness journey back then, how did that impact your body now in hindsight?
So basically I was into fitness modeling. I think the last 10 years or let's say 15 years, I've been in the gym all the time. Wake up in the morning, hit the gym, pack your 6 meals a day, and then carry those meals everywhere you go. So that was my routine. So that's where my interest towards wellness grew. But currently the trend is so out there that people are really running towards, people really at the age of 16 want to really have like a 6-pack abs, like 20-inch arms. So they really get
20-inch arms.
Like,
I was like, how? Okay.
Yeah. So exactly. So people really want shortcut to success. And hence they take a lot of shortcuts by getting into like the whole steroid cycles and many other drugs that are out there at a very, very young age. So the whole industry itself currently is undergoing a drastic transformation, because when you go back in like say even 15 years ago when I hit the gym, it was like a lot of people who were in the gym were people who were suffering from obesity. But now when I hit the gym, I'm pretty sure like 40-50% are like already ready to compete.
Really?
Yeah.
You've noticed that?
Yes. So this trend has to change because all these are not really healthy for your life, for your wellness. Yeah. So this has to change. And then that's where I thought, okay, if I go back to the fitness industry once again, I really have to take the path. So it's not healthy for me in the long run. So let me try to do something else differently. So I thought, okay, my main aim is to always educate people and help people to get the right education into them and not really drive for shortcuts. So that's why even during the lunch table in the office, when I tell you, hey, you know what, nothing is more important or nothing is more effective than whole food. But everybody always asks me, what's the supplement? Should I go for a whey protein or should I go for creatine? And that's the first thing that people think of, right? So that's where I want to bring in awareness and education and help them understand that what's good for their longevity and not for, just
short-term gain.
Not for short-term gains or like 5 posts on Instagram or TikTok.
Yes. It's not about the likes, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's shift into topics of gear here with this intersectionality that you are at in this world of AI. Because before I even knew you as someone of interest in breath work, I knew you first as someone of interest in AI. So what's the connection here and why are you trying to make this happen?
I think AI itself, when it comes to clinical research or anything in the medical side of things is quite alarming for a lot of people, and rightfully so. It has to be. But in terms of where I'm incorporating AI is more of assisting our instructors so that everybody is safe. So this doesn't necessarily mean that the AI is dictating our breathwork sessions or it's dictating how exactly one should react, right? So it's not like manipulating anyone's flow of thoughts, but rather it's trying to help the instructors and also reassure the participants to say, okay, because when you go to traditional breathwork sessions, or let's say breathwork sessions that are out there that people are currently doing, it has a very different vibe. People always try to bring in a very spiritual aspect to it. And they might have they might have done a course for like 6 months or 1 year. And with that experience, they would come in and try to touch one of the most sensitive part of your body. That's your parasympathetic nervous system. Yeah. So how sure are you that whatever you're doing is right for a person? And then you have one instructor for 10 people. Does it really work? What if there's a spike of energy and the person really brings in their past trauma during that spike? How can you handle that? So AI here tries to help you simulate what could be the maximum and minimum energy levels, or maximum or minimum calmness level. So there are multiple ways how we do this. And once you have this threshold set and you know who is actually attending, are these people suffering from PTSD? Are these people suffering from any other sorts of diseases? Then you can adjust those stress levels accordingly. And then the breathwork session is begun. So this way you're not risking, because not every breathwork instructor is a MD from Harvard or from the Ivy League to even control, and they don't have the equipments or infrastructure to facilitate people who undergo immediate trauma or a sudden anxiety attack, because all these are possible when it's ungoverned.
So, and that's very fascinating. I think when you're looking at it from a clinical perspective and not so much from the spiritual perspective, it is with the intention that you are trying to help people become healthier and dealing and coping with their traumas in a healthier way. But then now my follow-up question to that is, let's say you see in a graph like these peaks of moments that are like really high. How can you really identify like, okay, you know what, this peak was correlated to this trauma?
Well, we would not know what exactly the trauma is, right? So when I went to my first breathwork session, it was a transformational breathwork session, and I discovered one of the trauma, which I didn't even realize it was a trauma. I didn't even remember it. So I had one of my shoulder injuries when I was like 10 years ago. My first transformational session, my shoulder really felt heavy and the pain really got activated. I really felt that pain which I experienced during the injury. But again, it was not such a severe injury that I was out for like 6 months, but I didn't realize it was a trauma back then. So it eventually came up, and then I understood, okay, I have this slight fear, even when I'm working out, that I might injure my left shoulder again. So then I try to understand, I try to comprehend what I was feeling, and then I try to heal from it.
How did you heal from it?
I think, one, I started incorporating some of my exercises, like a cuff rotating exercises and many other things, to mentally make me believe that, hey, I'm healed. So we should not be limiting the mobility of the shoulder just because it happened once. So this happens to a lot of people in the gym, where I've seen some people restrict their movement during their exercises only because in the past, when they've probably gone too low with the bench, they might have broken their or they might rip their muscle fiber off. Right. So these kind of blockers can be like removed using breathwork.
So now, that we're reaching the end of this conversation, why did you feel the need to pursue this? And also, why are we here today? I think, that was something that we've talked off camera about, this initiative that you're starting, right?
Yeah.
I think you're a part of. So if you can tell the listeners and watchers what that is all about.
Right. So I'm trying to raise a lot of awareness of how people can get better just by breathing. It's the most cost-effective wellness form. All you need is probably just to sit down or lie down and then breathe. It doesn't cost you anything. And I think that's something I would love people to incorporate and try to be aware of their own physical and mental well-being. Mental well-being is always like overlooked in many cultures or also in the past, but I think it's time now to re-emphasize it and bring awareness to it. And I have a close knit of breathwork instructors who I have working with. I'm also training them in order to take this breathwork and raise a global awareness. So I would love people to join them, try to do a breathwork session, try to get some tips and tricks. How do you incorporate it in your daily life? And pretty much start entering the breathwork realm.
So simple. Okay, then. Well, then for those that are interested in like knowing a little bit more about you, where can they reach you? How can they get in contact with you? All that.
I think I already have a website. So a lot of knowledge articles and information is already there. Okay. So I'll also be publishing a magazine soon. So people can learn more about breathwork. And for those who are really, really interested in taking this step, you can start by reaching out to us with the website and then scheduling some time where we teach you like a quick breathwork technique, like 5 or 10 minutes, or people who want to really, really dive in. Let's do a transformational one.
Okay, so where can they reach you?
The website. So the website. Yeah.
Okay, well then all that information then will be in the show notes if you're listening. And if you're watching this on YouTube, it'll be down in the description below in the video. Like always, thank you, Hitesh.
Thank you very much for having me here. And thank you everyone for listening.
Thank you so much for your time. And as you know what you have to do. Rate, like, and subscribe this conversation on YouTube. Make sure to hit the notification bell. And on any streaming platform, please feel free to share this to anyone you know. And it's always so important to give visibility to the podcast. So if you rate it, that also helps as well on Apple Podcasts and any other streaming platform. So thank you so much. And we will be seeing you on the next one.